So, when you're facing the choice to pick a female or male character, which do you typically pick? Some people don't think twice, others may struggle with it, but choosing a gender could mean quite a lot, and it could reveal things about you depending on the circumstances. Or it could not. Of course, you could just want something nice to look at. I get that. But there is this phenomenon specifically about males playing as females because they want to be them. That's actually sometimes how transgenders cope with their gender issues at early stages before they decide to transition. They explore their gender issues through video games. And it doesn't necessarily have to be multiplayer games or role-playing servers. It can even be single-player games. How do I know that? Well, here's one testimony from a Tumblr page called How Video Games Saved My Life. The person in the article is a boy that feels like a girl, and I quote, "Feeling isolated, I squirreled myself away in fiction and lived as much of my life there as possible, with badasses being my favorite characters, X-Men's Wolverine, Actraser's The Master." The reference games are old, really old. That's because the article is old, but bear with me. Metal Gear Solid's Revolver Ocelot, Blood Omen's Kane, all of which were men. So clearly, if I wanted to be cool, strong and confident, I had to ride the guy train for life. That changed when N64 Perfect Dark came out, where I played James Bond's distaff counterpart, a redhead named Joanna. Whenever I hated my body, I could step into hers and boom headshot my problems away. But still, she was just an exception that proved the rule. In the land of X chromosomes, the Y was still king. And here comes my favorite quote in all this. Enter Eternal Darkness, Sanity Requiem, and its blonde heat-picking heroine Alexandra Rovius. Did she ever complain, or whine, or live life like she was a second-class citizen? No. She bound the power of ancient gods to the slug rounds in her gunshot and proceeded to wholesale maim the hellhordes living beneath her home. She quantum leap-style took over the body of men throughout history to accomplish her mission. Because that's how she do. God, I just wanted to be cool. Doesn't everyone? And in the end of the article, you do see her post-transition. Okay, but that's single-player games. In multiplayer, that's when it gets interesting, and not because of those kind of opinions.
I don't think that guys should play female characters. It's false advertising. It's just wrong, right? Like I don't like it at all. It's a trap. Yeah, it's a trap.
And it's particularly interesting in role-playing servers, because that's the art of portraying a character, pretending to be someone. You have to play act as that character. So I played both text-based online role-playing and voice-based role-playing, and I noticed something interesting. There are a whole lot more female characters in text-based role-playing servers as opposed to voice-based role-playing servers. The fact is, a lot more guys play as female characters in role-playing servers whenever they can pass as one. It's easy to do with text, more difficult with voice. I mean, it's hard to pass as female when you sound like this.
Yo, what's happening?
Yo, what's happening?
What's happening, Kenny?
And I've also seen voice-based role-playing servers that outright disallow male players to play as female characters, no matter how they sound like. Even if they try to fake their voice to sound like a girl, it doesn't matter to them. There is much less hostility about that in text-based environments. And although I am focusing about males that play as females, I'm sure there are also females that play as males. It's just less common. Mostly because there is a sort of preferential treatment to playing a female character because you're one out of few. I certainly noticed it while playing a female in a voice-based role-playing server.
Держи. Девушек у нас мало в зоне, надо их беречь.
This paper is about why men like playing women so much and how do they understand this role. It quotes 4 players from the World of Warcraft forum when they're questioned about their choice of playing female. Something that I like about women characters is they allow me to play something that I am not, and if I'm going to be a half-rotten walking corpse, what's so strange about wanting to switch gender? Here's another quote. I would never roll a human male or female because 1. I am already human, vaguely, so what's the point of playing a fantasy game and being something that I am already? Quote 3. I am a guy playing a female character because that's just what it is for me, a character which I control. She's just a character I developed over some years, just like a writer would design the people in his novel or whatever. Now, those 3 quotes are pretty bland and innocent. They just play something different and have fun. But then there is this quote. Quote 4. Me, I rolled a female character for the challenge of roleplay. See if I can fit into the role of female. Being a male myself, I know everything about being a guy. I wanted to see if I had sufficient knowledge of the feminine world to play as a girl. By that statement, it doesn't mean that the player has any desire to transition to a girl in real life, but it does leave the door open, and fact is, plenty of transgender use it as a psychological tool to better understand themselves and achieve some sort of satisfaction. The examples you find online about it are infinite. And while transgenders is the extreme end of males playing as females, you could just be exploring another part of your personality that's more female. There are certainly gray areas of self-discoveries. After all, there are queer genders, gender fluid, bisexualism, and whatnot. And while this video focuses on transgenders, the psychological and self-discovery's effect of role-playing is great for more than just that. People can deal with a whole host of issues. Role-playing can be therapeutic.
What's keeping me here? That's a deep story. I find it very easy to open up myself, which is not something I do normally in real life. And I find a lot of people are very similar.
The tools we have in the 21st century to explore who we are and to deal with those kind of psychological and social issues are incredible.